Recently, we've heard a ton of good news about both the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro. So today, I not only want to show you some new confirmed leaks from Apple themselves, but a look at a number of the other features that Apple's been working on as we're getting even closer to September of 2024 when these phones are set to release. Let's start off with the stuff that is confirmed because it's actually fascinating. So for a bit now, we've seen the final designs of both models this year. The iPhone 16 is getting the vertically stacked camera. It's going to have some fun new colors, but the overall rounded edges and materials are the same. And while these upgrades definitely improve the design of the iPhone 16, it is not the major refresh that I think a lot of people were really hoping for this year. Exact same story on the iPhone 16 Pros. While the screens are getting a bit larger and the bezels are shrinking down a bit, the back looks pretty much identical to every iPhone since 2019. Apple might be making the titanium a bit more reflective, the rose gold color is coming back, and Apple is adding a brand new button below the power switch called the capture button for taking photos and videos. But again, when you put all these things together, the iPhone 16 Pro just doesn't look that new. And that's left a lot of people wondering how Apple is actually going to market these phones. Like, why buy this new iPhone instead of just getting last year's model? Well, the short answer is a bunch of new AI features. We got a tease of what Apple has been working on at WWDC 2024 when they showed off the generative emojis and some custom image and text generation, as well as a new version of Siri. But according to a new leak, it sounds like that is just going to be the start of Apple's AI strategy, as it has now been confirmed by Apple themselves in leaked code that every single iPhone 16 from the regular to the Pro models is getting the A18 chip. Now, if this was a normal year, I don't think this would really be news, a chip that Apple's putting in the phones. Okay, cool, but this is not a normal year, and the chip inside of both the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro, I think is actually the story for the phones this time around. And by the way, if you want to see more cool renders like these, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. For months at this point, and way more than in prior years, we've heard big rumors about the A18 chip. It's not just going to be a little bit more efficient and a little bit faster. It's going to have a significantly upgraded neural engine dedicated to performing specific AI tasks. Essentially, if you saw what Apple announced at WWDC with all of the current hardware that they make and said, that's pretty cool, I can't wait to use those features on my iPhone, that's the stuff available on what they've already built, not the stuff they're currently building. So with Apple wanting to offer the majority of these AI features on every single iPhone 16, they don't want to only put the new chip in the Pro models like they've been doing for a couple of years since 2022. That was the first time ever that they didn't put the same chip in every iPhone and started putting only the new chip in the Pros and the year-old chip in the lower end models. Whereas on the iPhone 16, they want to bring as many AI features as possible to both models, so they're putting the baseline of the A18 in everything. Then there's the second part of this confirmed leak, which I actually think is more interesting, because in the same reference of Apple talking about the A18 chip running on certain iPhones, they also mentioned 5 different iPhone models that will be getting the A18 chip. And I know how to account for 4 of these, right? The iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 16 Pro, and iPhone 16 Pro Max. So Apple just confirmed that they're releasing at least 4 new iPhones this year, but we already knew that. What's this other model? What is this 5th iPhone that's also said to be getting the A18 chip? Well, I spent some time thinking about it, and I think I figured it out, because I now believe that we have confirmation that the iPhone SE 4, set to release in spring of 2025, will also be getting the A18 chip, which will mean it gets all of Apple's latest AI features as well. And this is a device that we have heard rumors about extensively for years. It's going to be a major redesign, a complete rethink of what the budget iPhone is, with the iPhone 14 style design with a notch and flat sides and aluminum. And the iPhone SE 4 will also be switching away from Lightning, and it will complete Apple's transition to USB-C ports across all of their products. So with this having USB-C, of course, I want to charge it as fast as I possibly can. So that's why I partnered up with Ugreen, who sponsored today's video to show you their brand new Ugreen Nexode X 160 watt charger. With 3 USB-C ports and a USB-A port, you can fast charge your laptop, your tablet, and your phone all at the same time on top of another 4th device. And with the latest power delivery 3.1 protocol, you can fast charge a 16-inch MacBook Pro to 50% in just 27 minutes, which is, I don't even know how that's possible to do it that fast. And it's not even big. Compared to Apple's 140 watt charger, Ugreen's Nexode X 160 watt has more power and is smaller, with additional ports on here that you don't get with Apple's. And if you are on the go a lot, this is the perfect accessory. It's Ugreen's new 2-in-1 magnetic foldable charging station, which has Qi 2 wireless charging built in, giving you the fastest 15 watt charging speeds, just like Apple's MagSafe. You can grab both of these right now when you use my links down below in the description. A huge huge thank you to Ugreen for sponsoring this one. Now, let's get back to it. Personally, I am beyond excited for the iPhone SE 4. I think it's going to become the best value smartphone in the world, but that's not coming till next year, so I want to continue on with a bunch of other rumors for this year's iPhone 16 lineup. Starting off with what appears to be a first look at MagSafe 2.0. Apple this year, according to a number of leaks, is going to be redesigning the MagSafe system to be a little bit thinner and smaller than it is currently. Because since Apple debuted MagSafe back with the iPhone 12 series in 2020, they really haven't updated the internal design components in any significant way or even adjusted the strength of the magnets that noticeably. Now, from these leaked images, it does not look like a major change, and the same overall design is still intact with the circle of magnets above and the positioned straight line of magnets below, but it is noticeably just a bit less wide than it used to be, making me question if Apple is trying to make room for maybe what sits below it. Now, I don't want to get too excited here, as I'm known to do sometimes, but it does seem like 2024 could finally be the year that Apple starts taking iPhone battery life seriously again. And according to a pair of new reports, Apple is planning the biggest battery redesign ever by, for the first time, getting rid of that rubberized coating we have had since 2007 and now plating the battery with metal. And I have to say, after learning more about this, Apple's pretty gigabrain for this one because it's allowing them to achieve two things at the same time. The first is an improvement in battery density. We're hearing that a 5 to 10% increase on at least one iPhone 16 model is happening, likely the Pro Max, and this is due to the new metal plating. That part's great for us, but I think Apple is a bit more pressed about the second reason they're changing the battery. And that's due to some pending regulation in the European Union that by 2027 demands that smartphones must have a more easily user replaceable battery if they don't already. And if you've ever tried to replace the battery on a current iPhone, you know that having to use the little melty stuff and loosening the seals for the battery, it's not a real easy process. By switching to a metal plated battery, we're hearing that Apple's going to implement a new shock displacement system, so you can basically touch one part of the iPhone with an electrical current and the battery will more easily dislodge or come out than it does currently. And while that sounds a bit complicated and extra and maybe a bit over-engineered, I mean, let's just look at how Apple's handled their regulational requirements so far. I wouldn't say that they've done everything super straightforward and that they like to express their compliance in their own special way. Hey, either way, we're getting a battery with more battery life than it has currently, and I can't ask for much more at this point. According to other rumors, these changes that Apple is making this year is going to account for the longest battery life ever on a Pro Max sized iPhone. But the good news for the iPhone 16 Pro Max doesn't stop there, as according to some rumors, the cameras are also going to be getting some special upgrades that you don't get on any other iPhone, even the smaller Pro. It sounds like Apple's most expensive iPhone is going to have an even better Sony camera sensor than what you have on the standard Pro model this year. This new sensor would likely feature a stack design for better performance, 14-bit analog to digital converter, which would give you higher quality image data conversion, and a digital gain control for better dynamic range and noise control. Or in other words, making the key parts of what makes a good photo even better and more accurate, which sounds like it would only be available on the most expensive iPhone and not on the regular Pros if you use this one like me. And putting both of these things together, the best battery in the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the best cameras ever in the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I do wonder if we will finally see this rumored iPhone 16 Ultra model that we've heard about in rumors over the years but has never actually materialized. We have the Apple Watch Ultra with a couple of crazy features and a crazy high price point. It just seems logical that Apple will eventually bring that to the iPhone. Although to be clear, there are no credible rumors just yet saying that we are actually getting an Ultra iPhone in 2024, so it does seem that Apple will be sticking with the iPhone 16 Pro Max again. We also know that a big part of the Pro iPhones this year are these slightly larger displays that Apple is going to be using, and now we have some new details about these screens. Unfortunately, it's not in regards to Dynamic Island. It is still going to be the same size. The smaller hole is not coming until next year, but it does sound like the slightly larger 6.3 and 6.9 inch display sizes that Apple uses are going to be some of the best looking smartphone screens ever. They're said to be Samsung's latest M14 panels, which have increased longevity as well as brightness. And this matches up with another rumor we've heard that the iPhone 16 Pro screens will go up to 1200 nits of brightness this year instead of just 1000. Year over year, that's an improvement of about 20%, which is a pretty good jump for these panels. And while it sounds like it's really easy to just make a panel brighter, it's not that simple, especially when you're doing something as high quality as the OLED panels that Apple is used to using on the phone. And finally, want to end with a change happening on all iPhone 16 models. These will be the first iPhones that Apple makes that support the newest Wi-Fi 7 standard, which is not one of these things that will change change the world, but compared to Wi-Fi 6 and 6E, it's said to be more efficient, lower latency, and have the capacity to support more devices at the same time. For now, I want to thank both Crody and Artifacts for the incredible renders that you saw throughout this entire video. They are the reason that these videos come to life. They are so good at what they do, so please follow both of them down below. And I am getting excited for the iPhone 16, guys. Technically, it comes out in 2 months. We're in July. It comes out in September. I am hyped, and of course we have big plans for the fall. So hit that subscribe button in case you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future videos. I've been Sam, I hope you're doing great, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.